it's time for me to speak with a very exciting guest and one that I've been really impatient to talk to. So, first of all, Austyn, welcome to the Portsmouth Comic Con podcast, sir.
Luke, thank you so much for having me on. It is
Oh,
an absolute honor.
this is, I could tell when the camera went on that we were going to have a fun chat, and I've been just itching
Yeah.
to speak with you about this. So, yes, as we know now, Ecto
Mhm.
1 will be at Portsmouth Comic Con, and
Yes,
I
it
am
will.
over the moon about that. The fact that over the years, the Batmobile has been there, a DeLorean's been there, cars from Jurassic Park and
Mhm.
Transformers, but now, this iconic car is coming and you're bringing it along.
Yes. Well, I'm just hoping it gets there. These old cars, I mean, they are temperamental at the best of times, but one way or another, it'll get there.
I will be pushing it if I have to. I will find you, I will push it there. I mean, if you see people pushing an XO1 down the street, other people will join in, I'm sure.
Give
But
them a
yes,
hand.
that's
Yeah.
it. And yes, and we're here to talk about you and this
Yep.
fantastic car and the
Mhm.
fact that it will be at the Portsmouth Comic Con on the 11th and 12th of May. So, as we
Absolutely.
always we start these shows, let's start with your origin story, as it were, Austin. How
The
did you
origin story.
the origin story, the goods, the
Yeah.
bads, the trials and tribulations?
I love that. Well, I mean, I have been a lifelong Ghostbusters fan since I was oh Christ, I don't know, about 4 years old or something. And I was at home and I'd wandered downstairs and I'd gone to bed and I'd wandered downstairs and I couldn't sleep. And I went into the front room and my mum and my dad were watching Ghostbusters and I couldn't sleep and I kind of said, "Oh, can I stay up and watch this?" And I just was just in awe. I was just like, wow, what is this? And I remember coming down and it was around the time of the bit of the movie when Ecto One comes rolling out of the firehouse. And I just remember, and they went to the hotel and they met Slimer for the first time, and I was just hooked. And I was like, what is this? And then not long after that, the cartoon, the real
The
Ghostbusters
real
cartoon came
Ghostbusters,
out.
yep.
And I was like, hey, this is putting two and two together. I was like, this is amazing. I love this. And then it just snowballed from buying the toys and the comics to, fast forward 36 years later, and we're buying 1963 Cadillacs and having them shipped shipped over. And it's sometimes you just go, is this normal behavior for like a 40-year-old? And I'm kind of thinking, yeah, of course it is.
Of course it is. This is, for us, it's that part of finding a passion in life in that, that fateful moment where you were downstairs, you wanted to watch TV,
Yep.
and this movie came into your life, this franchise that has been with many of us
Mm,
all our lives and
yeah.
is still continuing to make new fans and make old fans happy. So
Yep.
yes, you are most definitely doing the right thing, Austin. And
Good.
yes,
Thanks.
so that passion that has led to this, the fact that you are
Yep.
bringing this car to events and doing so much with it. But how does one start when you had that moment where you thought, okay, if I can get an Ecto One into my possession in this
Hmm.
country,
Hmm.
where does one begin with that?
It started with the Jurassic Park Jeep.
Okay, as most
So,
good stories do,
as
Austin.
you
Yeah.
do, as you do. So I said to my wife, "Hey, I want to get the Ecto One." She went, "You silly sausage, no." And I kind of went, "Okay." Well, I said, "But she's a massive fan of Jurassic Park," and I said, "What about a Jurassic Park Jeep then? If I can do that?" And she was like, "Yeah, okay, yeah, that'll fit on the driveway, and that, yeah, okay, we'll go for that." So I sort of found a Jeep and converted it to a Jurassic Park Jeep. And that was the first project, and we kind of ticked that one off. And I've been searching for a good Ecto One donor vehicle
Mhm.
for a long, 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 long time. And over the course of, I don't know, I want to say potentially the last like 10 years or so, I've been picking up little pieces here and there for it. Do you know what I mean? You look on eBay and you find, you know, the siren for it, you find a light bar, or you find this or that, or something. Just you get, oh, that's a good price. I'll just pick that up. And people going, you haven't got a car yet. And I'm going, don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. And it went just on a rack in the garage. And then, you know, I was running out of room in the garage and thought, well, Christ, you know, I really need to pull my finger out and start properly in earnest, but, you know, looking and buying a car. So it happened during lockdown. And before lockdown, I'm a guitarist as well. So I sort of I mounted a relatively big collection of guitars, and I wasn't playing any of them. And I thought to myself, you know, these guitars are giving me no pleasure whatsoever. So during like the start of lockdown, I just sold a load and cleared out, raised the funds, as it were. And I was sat down in this very room in my dining room, and just doing my work on my computer, you know, as everyone was doing during lockdown. And I had a notification ping up on my phone or whatever. You know, Cadillac found matching your search criterion, or I was like, have a look. And I had a look and it popped up, and there it was, this 1963 Cadillac. Now, the original is a 59, okay? But the cars from 1959 to 63, 64 are pretty much essentially the same kind of chassis. There's not loads of differences. There are some differences, but, you know, the 59s go for silly money. I mean, hundreds of thousands they go for, even rusted out. So this 1963 came up, which was a combination chassis, so an ambulance and hearse. And I kind of looked at it and went, that's good. That's a good price. So I just emailed the guy and sort of said, you know, hey, you know, about this car. I said, I'm interested, but I'm in England. You know, are you all right to help us with the shipping it over? And he said, yeah, that's fine. And when the message came back from a guy called Murray. And I went, oh, well, that's a sign, isn't it?
It's a
And
big sign.
yeah, I was like, okay, so, okay, cool. Well, that's good. So I could potentially arrange shipping and things like that. And I was chatting to him and all the rest. And he said, yeah, it would be shipped out of New York. And I'm going,
Hang on.
hang
Hang on a minute.
There's a yeah, wait a gosh darn minute here. And I said, so your name is Murray and it's going to be shipped out of New York. Yeah, okay. So I kind of went, all right, I'll have it. Let's do it. I'll send you over a deposit. So did that. And I've always had that, saying in my head, it's better to ask for forgiveness than to ask for permission. So I agreed everything and sort of said, yeah, that's fine. You know, we'll do this. And I suddenly really thought, I probably best run this part past the wife. I best say, hey, darling, you know that car I've wanted, you know, the big one, 22 foot long, that's going to pretty much take over our lives. Yeah, well, guess what? So it was like, I said, look, and my wife, bless her, who puts up with an awful lot. She is amazing. And she just went, go for it. It looks amazing. So I went, great. That was lucky. So that was it. We got the car during COVID. And I've never been so scared of wiring such a large amount of money to someone who I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of those things, isn't it? Sort of, you would end up in the paper for that big of a scam. What were you buying?
Yeah.
How did you lose all this money? What were you buying at the time?
Exactly.
Well,
well, funny you should say.
But luckily, it wasn't a scam.
No.
And your dream came true.
Yeah.
So
this is it. But I had to wait for so long. I had to wait for months and months and months for it to arrive, because the thing is, it's not like a normal car that someone can just pop in and ship over.
No.
The thing's like 22 foot long, so it doesn't fit in most containers and stuff, so and trailers. So it was quite a logistics nightmare for everyone finding a truck big enough to get it to the docks and then get it onto a boat and all the rest. But somehow it managed to arrive here. And I remember going and going down to, where I keep it, which is this old like dairy farm. And it just, I had a call from the guy and he said, whereabouts are you? And he kind of just rolled into the front of it. And I said, oh, we're here. And I just remember seeing it, and it kind of just went on and on and on. And it's only when you see the thing on the screen and you're like,
Yeah.
car, blimey, that's a big car. But when you're stood up close to it, you're like, geez, that is a big car. I mean, the thing is huge.
Mm.
And that was it. And it arrived, and then we started work on it pretty much day one.
So when it arrived, what was it? What did it look like when it got to you? Was it sort of a replica of that car then, or was it just in
No,
its original state?
it was in its original state. It was kind of a sort of like a matte gray and black, not
Mm.
too dissimilar to how sort of Ray finds it in the
Nice.
film
Yeah.
anyway. Yeah, and I was kind of like, oh, that's cool. Yeah.
Because there are such, it's such unique vehicle when it was,
Yeah.
used as an ambulance slash hearse in America. I think they use the same sort of vehicle, some parts of Australia as well. But it was
Hmm.
just such, well, it's long, as you said, 22 foot long
Yeah.
that you said. And I mean,
Yeah.
probably not the best for handling at high speed, but they do it very well in the films. But there's a lot of storage in there. So
There is.
so it arrived to you in, in a state of not looking like an Ecto One.
That's it.
What was your first job to get it on its journey?
My first job, do you know, I almost it was almost a bit of a blur, really, because I had all these parts in the garage, and I just had like drills and rivet guns, and I was like, all right, let's do it. And I just remember in the first few weeks just riveting on so much of the stuff, I suppose, like the cosmetic stuff, like some of the vents on the boot and on the hood, and some of the connectors, and just little bits that I could go down, drill a couple of holes here and there, and then I could rivet this bit on and do this bit. And we just did some of the cosmetic work around the body first of all, which was, I mean, I'm not a mechanic by any stretch of the imagination. I'm just a few sandwiches short of a picnic and someone who just wants to go and build
Just
crazy
dive in.
dream with
Just
building
dive in.
Acto One, just dive in. So we just did that. We just spent the first few months just putting little bits on here and there and getting it along and ripping out the inside. The inside was pretty good condition, to be honest. And I kind of really wish I'd taken some photos for that whole sort of nostalgic look, to
Mm.
look back at what it was. But I didn't. I was so like kid in the candy store. I just went at it and just went, right, this needs to come out, that's going on, we don't need this, we'll rip this down. And that was it. I just went tooth and nail for it. So
But that's what passion does to us. We don't think
yeah.
about, oh, I better take some pictures of this for the Instagram, or I better do that for YouTube. You're in that moment. You're also in the
Yeah.
mindset of like being one of the original Ghostbusters when it turned up, turning it into Ecto One, thinking this is something that I've watched over the years so many times, and it
Yep.
is literally now in my possession.
Yeah.
And I've seen some photographs of it, and I know that
Mhm.
when I see it in person at Portsmouth Comic Con, I am going to just get an absolute just rush of happiness and nostalgia seeing it and hopefully hearing it. Now, when I was at Portsmouth Comic Con last year,
Yeah.
I arrived there early to get some stuff done, and I
Yep.
arrived just in time to see the Batmobile come off the
Okay.
ramp and be taken in to the into the forecourt. I'm hoping this year I turn up when you turn up, because
Yeah.
I want to hear it. I want to see it come around the corner, land in front of the Guild Hall. But I think what most people want to hear is that iconic siren.
There's a siren.
Now,
It's so iconic, isn't it? If you played it to anyone at any part of the world, they'd go, that's the Ghostbusters siren.
yeah,
It is, isn't it?
and that's it's daunting, but it's that for a reason. It's a classic siren noise. So
Yeah.
when you first heard that,
Yep.
when that horn was in your in your possession, how long did it take for you to turn it off? Was you just on loop continuously?
Well, I mean, this is the thing. This is the thing. The actual siren noise is not actually a proper siren.
Oh, heartbroken.
No, I know. I'm sorry. Dreams just shattered. I'm sorry, Luke.
That's okay.
I
It's
didn't
fine.
promise I wasn't going to shatter dreams, but here I go. Dream one. So it was made. It was constructed from something like a reverse cheetah sound growl or something like that, and a few other things. But it's not an actual siren. The siren that's on there, which is the big kind of silver bullet looking
Mm.
one, that's an old federal siren, a C5GA or no C5GB, and that is a different noise. And wow, what a noise is that! We tested it out to see, what it would sound like and all the rest. And bear in mind, this is coming from someone who has played in rock bands since the age of 15, so I'm pretty tone deaf as it goes anyway. That thing, when it kicks in, oh my god, the thing is so loud. It was literally hurting my
Oh,
eardrums
no.
how loud this thing was. I mean, the siren itself is big,
Mm.
and it's just like a big motor that's just spinning round, and it is loud. So hopefully we can get that fired up as well.
I think just to wake everybody up and let them know that you have
We're
arrived.
here.
But
We're here.
just I think we've even sort of without hearing the horn, no, just seeing it, seeing
Mm,
it there in person and being able to get relatively close to this piece of iconic cinema history for me is going to be a big moment. And there's going to be photographs. There's going to be cosplayers there taking photographs
mhm,
with it. But what I love, yes, there's bound to be Ghostbusters cosplayers at the event, but I like it when you get fandoms intertwine and you would get
mm.
sort of people that not necessarily would be part of that universe taking photographs with Ecto One. So you're going to
Yeah,
have your Batmans, you're going to have your Deadpools, you're going to have people there taking photographs
yeah.
and making some surreal memories.
I love it.
Um,
I love all
so
those kind of
it's
crossovers.
going to be that's going to be a fun
It's gonna
part
be
of it.
epic. Yeah.
So yeah, so you got it moving, you got it
Yep.
working, you got it
Mhm.
so immaculately pristine. How did you that attention to detail? How
Mm.
did you? I mean, there's lots of fan groups I'm sure online that helped you recreate this car, but what was the most difficult thing for you in recreating it?
It's well, I've been very, very, very fortunate that my cousin, has his own metal fabrication business.
That helps.
It helps, and it's been great because 'cause I've been able to go to him and go, "Hey, Mark, I need one of these," and he's like, "Okay, got any dimensions or blueprints or anything like that?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I can get some." And then we've drawn bits up, and we've taken measurements that, in some of the groups, and we've made an awful lot of it ourselves. And it's been absolutely fantastic. And that's been a whole another level of stuff. Do you remember I mentioned to you that we have ecto nights?
Yes, you did. I was very intrigued
Okay.
by Ecto Night, and I was like,
Yeah.
Tell me more. Tell me more."
Oh, they are a hoot, Luke. Let me tell you. So every week or whatever, my cousin Mark and we kind of get together over at his factory, and we build ecto stuff. So it's either for my car or for other people's cars, and we've done quite a lot now of the parts for loads of different people's cars, which has been fantastic. And we've got a relatively good name for ourselves out there for building ecto parts. And we did an order before Christmas for a very special car that's going to be coming out sort of this year. So which is going to be great. So that's going to be lovely to see our stuff on that car. Um, and there's nothing quite like literally starting with the raw materials and
Mm.
ending up with the thing, and you go, there you go, that's the part, this is this part. So all of the stuff on the rack of the Ecto has all been made by us, even down to the smallest little sort of knobs and dials and things like that. That's all been sort of fabricated by us from scratch, pretty much. So we are immensely proud of all of the stuff that we've got on the rack. And I suppose we've kind of, I'm a real stickler for it looking right, because it's got to, I think it, you can have a little bit of leeway because it's a 63 and it's not a 59. So you go, okay, that's fine. I've got a little bit of leeway, but I want everything else on it to look as close to the original as possible. So we've just really made sure that everything that we've got up there on the rack and everything that we've built has been as close to what the original one was.
And I think I admire that attention to detail, though, because
Thank you.
yes, I am a fanboy when it comes to many things, and I had the original Ecto One toy. I've had
Yeah.
replicas of it. I've seen a few in person, but not up close.
Hmm.
But you will get those fans that I'm sure you've encountered them at events that they know a lot about the brand. They know about those things, and they would spot things on the car that other
Yeah.
people wouldn't really spot, like a dent or a scratch or the
Hmm.
slightest little detail that they would see it and think that,
Yeah.
I mean, that's the same from the film, and it makes it, I think, more special when someone like you has got that passion for it and that attention to detail. It's important for you that this car looks good because
Yeah.
you want other people to see it and enjoy it as much as you do.
Absolutely.
And I know you will need to more than likely have a bottle of water in your hand all weekend, because I'm sure that people are going to have lots of questions for you about this car. I've still
Hmm.
got plenty that I've got today, and there's going to be more that
Good.
I'm going to have in the future. But just speaking with you about it, I can see it in your face light up just to talk about it. What was
Yeah.
it like for you though when you were finally finished with how it looked? It looked
Hmm.
screen accurate, and it was there in front of you, and you sat in the driver's seat. How did that feel?
It's a crazy surreal moment,
Mm,
because you don't actually get to enjoy any of that. You're because you're inside, so you can't see everything on the roof and behind you, and how it looks at this bit. You have to rely on other people's videos and things like that to go, oh, that's what it looks like. Great, lovely job. We went to Bewley National Motor Museum
oh, fantastic
in it,
place.
and yeah, it's great, isn't it? And we went there, and someone filmed us going down one of the motorways or whatever, and it was really nice because I was like, that's what it looks like when
Mm,
it's moving along and nothing's falling off of it. So that's great. And it's nice because when you're in there and you're sat there behind this steering wheel, and the bonnet just goes on and on and on, you don't really sort of see it. You've just got
no.
this interior, and you just have to rely on people yelling at you, which does happen an awful lot.
So you said
It's
you were
great.
driving it down the motorway. So it's
Yeah.
road legal.
Yes. Yes.
See, that
Absolutely.
was another aspect that I wasn't too sure about. I know I've seen it on the road and I've seen it in photographs, but I didn't know
Yeah.
that. Right. Hopefully, on that day in May when you come down, are you
Mm.
coming down the day before or the day of on the 11th?
I think we're coming down on the day. I
Okay.
think.
Okay.
I'm not sure
Right.
yet.
I'll tell you what, if you get here early enough, we're going to
Yep.
fill that tank and we are going to go around Portsmouth
Done.
and just watch people's heads
We just cruise
implode with
around.
excitement. Oh,
It is random sometimes. I mean, that's one of the things I've had conversations with, other ecto owners in this country,
mm,
and it's one of the things which is it's great sometimes, and it makes driving it really, really difficult, because
yeah.
it's number one, it's a massive car, so it's not like you can swing around a Ford Focus like as
Mm,
per norm. There's not much visibility in it. You've got to rely on your co-pilot going, yeah, okay, it's fine to change
yeah.
lanes. Um, but what you have is you just have everyone or a majority of people just try and up there with the camera, trying to go round you to get in front of you and then slow down so
Mhm.
that you'll like want to overtake. And you're going, no, this car isn't designed for overtaking. It's really not. And then you get sort of people, just driving along and who would just yell at you, "Hey, mate, where'd you get your car from?" You go going America, as you're cruising along at like 60, and they're trying to have a full blown conversation with you
Oh,
out the window, and it is a surreal thing to drive and do.
I bet. Well, I'll work on a route that has
Okay,
absolutely no roundabouts or tight corners.
no,
A
no,
big
like straight
It's straight
roads.
roads, like an
That
American road. You can see why a
that's
lot of American roads
perfect.
are completely straight and just 90-degree angle turns. I'll find a
Absolutely.
way. But
Thank you,
I,
Luke.
I'm just happy to see it in person, and because as I said, it's one of those cars that you know it instantly,
Yeah.
and you get a connection to it, and you get a connection to the movie, and it makes that
Hmm.
moment more exciting. And now
Oh yeah.
with the new film,
Hmm.
the trailer just got released yesterday.
Yep.
And it's Ghostbusters is always going to be such a popular IP, such a popular fandom
I
because of
think
that
so.
magic there. It's got the sci-fi, and now we've got all the original guys coming back, and
Yep.
there's going to be some magic moments in this film. I can't wait to see it. I've already booked the time off work to see this film.
Excellent. Good.
It's one of those things where, as we said before, you get the original fans and then the fans that have come
Yeah.
around from it. And
Yeah.
nostalgia is always going to be a seat filler. It's going to make
It's
people happy.
absolutely. Do you know what? And that's one of the things. Last time we took the car out, one thing I was noticing as I was kind of like driving it around was the amount of like dads who were explaining it to their sons. As you're traveling down, you'd have the dad go, oh, look, that's, and you could see the son going,
What?
what? It's a what? It's a what?
Yeah,
And he's going, yeah, 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 yeah. And he's like, oh, right.
yeah.
But it's,
This is what your TikTok is to me. Listen,
this is,
this is what we grew up with. This is our Taylor
yeah,
Swift. This is our
this is it.
thing.
This is
And
our thing.
but now that we can sort of go to the cinema, we can enjoy these things, with our kids,
Yeah.
with our nephews, with our grandkids. It
Mm.
brings it back full around, and characters like Bill Murray and Dan Aykroyd, they're just characters, that are always going to be proud of this franchise. And I think we're more than likely going to have some more surprises in this film.
Hmm.
They managed, I don't know how, sometimes keep these secrets under wraps, but I'm sure we're going to get a few surprises when this film comes out. But how did you feel when you saw that that final trailer get released recently?
Just amazing. Just big, warm, fuzzy glows. It's like pulling up a blanket and going, that's good. Because there's so much there that flicks that nostalgia switch for you.
Mm,
Like you said, that Ecto One sound, when you see it, and the Ecto One does spins a Yui in the middle of Manhattan, and it's racing off somewhere else, and you're going, yeah, that's what it's all about. It's about driving big Cadillacs. It's about Bill Murray. It's about Dan Aykroyd and Ernie Hudson and all of these amazing people who you've watched and grown up with, and they've always been there. They've always been a part of your life. And whilst things in your life have come and gone, that's always been an absolute staple. You know, and for me, watching the trailers yesterday, the two that were released, just so amazing and just make you feel. And I don't know if I get it almost with other trailers, and I don't know if it's just because I suppose Ghostbusters is my number one,
mm,
but I've always been a massive fan of like the Indiana Jones franchise and Star Wars, and certainly other franchises. But you watch like the trailers of these other films, and Indiana Jones, a perfect example. I watched the trailers of like the new indie films when they come out, and you just go, "Oh, yeah, okay, well,
Looks
we'll
good.
give that we'll give it a whirl." You know, it's not as life changing, I
That's a good way.
suppose,
No,
in a way.
that's a good way of putting it. I think, and when a lot of I try not to, but I got stuck into some of the comments that are on the YouTube video for that trailer released yesterday, and
Yeah,
they were all just so positive. It
yeah,
was like, I'm ready for this film.
yeah,
It's got the magic of the original. People were
yeah,
spotting Easter eggs already, but there were new things as well, like James
yeah,
Acaster being in there.
mm,
I mean, it's
yeah.
things like that. But seeing again the warm blanket of fuzziness, I like the way that was a perfect
I
way of
like
putting it.
it. It is like a warm blanket and slippers, and on a cold winter's evening.
And that's a perfect way. Because I mean, I'm not too sure how many times I've seen any of the Ghostbusters films. It's been just a constant in your life, as with
Yeah,
the soundtrack. As you know,
yeah.
there was a moment, I think every supermarket was playing Halloween music for months this year. And but
There
whenever you
was,
hear
wasn't there?
whenever you hear
Yeah,
the Ghostbusters, when you think, okay, that's all right. But it's still like it's a classic Halloween song. But even though when you hear it throughout the year, it's
yeah.
there. And even that song was it was joked about in the trailer with Paul Rudd. I'm thinking, yeah,
Yep.
if anybody can be attached to a film that's been
Yeah.
already around for decades, it's Paul Rudd. The man can do
Oh,
no wrong, bless him.
none. He is born to have been in this
That's it.
franchise.
He's got that.
Absolutely.
He's got that charm. He's got that
Yep.
quirkiness. A little bit of a geek aspect as well. Now, so
Yeah.
you've got the car. Do you have any sort of
Yep.
clothes to go with the car?
We have a few flight suits. Yep. It's a thing, which kind of comes with the territory.
I think
So
so.
we've done a few flight suits over the years. We've had to upgrade them as my body shape has changed.
Evolved. Evolved.
Evolved.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's it.
yes, but become more dad-like, I believe, is is the
That's
correct
in.
thing. So
The
we've.
dad bod is in. That's
I
fine.
hear this. I hear
It's
this. This
fine.
is the thing. I'm fine with a dad
Yeah,
bod,
no, it's fine.
and so we've upgraded, made
Wonderful.
some good upgrades as we've gone along, and yeah, we have all of that, and it's great. And there's nothing like having a flight suit on and getting in Ecto One, because
Yes.
I said to you about we went to Bewley,
Mm.
and this was kind of the first time we took the car out, and I went out, and we sort of we drove around, and we pulled into the car park, and it was a kind of like a movie car meetup,
Mm.
and everyone kind of saw us coming down this road and pull around, and they all started getting their phones out, and you could see, looking across, they're all getting their phones out, and everyone was kind of like gathering and all the rest for us to come in. We came in, and we pulled up, and by this point there was quite the crowd of people there, and we pulled up, and I just had that moment from Ghostbusters 1 when they pull up outside Dana Barrett's apartment right at the end of the film. And and we pulled up, I just stuck the handbrake on, got out the car in jumpsuit, and I went, to the whole of New York. Who you gonna call?
I got the tingles then. That is it.
And the whole crowd just went, Ghostbusters, like that. And that was it. They're there. They had bought into it. And how many franchises have
Mm.
that kind of connection?
Oh,
You know?
if you had the ultimate garage,
Yeah.
and money wasn't an option, or space,
hmm
and you
hmm
could have 5 cars in
hmm
your garage from the
Yep.
films or TV, what would you have? Not
That
including
is
it,
a
not
not.
including Ecto One.
Oh, okay. All right. Um, I it would be Kit from Knight Rider.
Nice.
I mean,
Okay.
that was my Saturday afternoon ritual as a kid, watching Knight Rider. I mean,
Mm.
David Hasselhoff. I remember wandering around as like a tiny like lad with a black leather jacket. And I always said to my mum that I wanted hair like David Hasselhoff, big Um, and I never got it. But I did get a black leather jacket,
Oh,
which I
we're
love.
we're halfway there. We're halfway there.
Exactly.
So
So
your kit,
it would be kit for
okay,
sure.
nice.
Um, a Dukes of Hazzard charger.
Oh,
I
good old
think
boys.
I think
Very
those,
nice. Yeah.
yeah, that never meaning any harm.
No.
It would be a charger. It got to be the Keaton Batmobile, I
Okay.
think, because it's just flawless, isn't it?
Mm,
I'm gonna say a DeLorean. I think it's got
nice.
to be,
It's, it has to be one of those things, isn't it?
it's got to be one of those. And then potentially, the um Smoking the Bandit Trans Am.
Nice.
How about you? What would you
Um,
have?
I'd go for a DeLorean.
Yep.
I'd like the 18 van.
Yes, very cool.
Um,
And
just
good
for
for
the
taking all your friends out in as
exactly,
well.
it's
You know?
spacious. Any
Yeah.
good old trip to IKEA,
You
you'd
can
be
sleep
sorted
in
out
it.
with
Yeah,
that.
exactly.
Talking about Bewley, I would really like the Chitty Chitty Bang Bang car, just because it's just such a surreal fever dream of a contraption.
Hung, hung,
Yeah,
hung,
and
hung.
that's it. It's a proper, just a bizarre looking car.
Yeah, isn't it?
I grew up adoring the Herbie movies, so I've seen a few
Yes.
Herbies over the time, and they seem
Yeah.
pretty easy to recreate. Um, I think Ecto. See, I'm gonna join that loophole, but it's
You
just for
could
me,
have that one.
it's the Ecto.
Yep.
But again, like yours, to have it screen accurate, to be able to see people looking through the windows to think, oh, that's from that, and seeing
Mm.
things on the roof and that aspect of it. Quick question though
Yeah.
about the wheels. How easy is it to get
Yes.
those sort of wheels in England with the classic white rim?
So that was something which I sort of like pondered and toiled over. So
Yeah.
the you can buy. So I've got to say, first of all, the white walls are painted on.
Okay.
Okay, which you can argue is actually screen accurate because in Afterlife and the new one they are painted
Painted
on.
on. Okay. Yeah, we'll go with
Yeah,
that. Yeah, that's fine.
yeah. So I'm fine with that. But the original ones weren't, and they were white walls.
Mm.
And there's a company in the US who are called Coca, who make the 3-inch white wall tires for it. So I was chatting to a buddy about them, and he said, "Oh yeah, you can buy them in the US. You can't buy them over here. You can just buy them in the US, and they come in about £800 per tire."
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
and I was like, "Blimey, that's a lot." And then you've got to get them shipped over,
Yeah.
which isn't cheap.
No,
And then I thought, Christ, with the UK roads like they are, if they have a puncture or something like that, that's
that's done.
a grand.
Yeah.
That's it, a grand done. So I was like, so I'm not going to go for that. So what I ended up doing was I ended up having a look around, and I spent months and months and months researching good tires that would go on it, that would perform well on it, and I ended up going for some Pirellis. So I got some just good quality Pirellis, and we painted the white wall on there. So we got about it that way, because I would much prefer to have a really good quality tire on there
Yeah.
rather than have something, because that was the other thing. I don't know how good the other ones were,
No.
or anything. So I got for a really good Pirelli tire on there, which sounds a
See,
bit nerdy.
but it's not. But I mean, but that's the Ghostbusters diehard attitude. You're
Ooh,
out there making something out of something else. I can see you out
yeah,
there in the barn with the wheel,
yep.
a couple of bottles of Tipex, just going out there, just getting it really that fine
it's
detail on it. But that's
it's
that.
very true.
But that's the attention, and I think you're going to be such a fantastic guest. I think pretty
Oh,
much as well that there are going to be quite a few people that are going to want to speak to you at this particular con. There will be a speakers corner event that I'm sure if you were asked nicely
will
enough to
there?
attend to, that you're going to go on to that.
Oh,
Because I've got
okay.
loads more questions to talk to with you. I'm going to be doing
Yeah,
live podcast around the event, and I don't think,
brilliant.
even though I've got plenty of places to be over the weekend,
Yep,
I think before and after the event, I'm just going to just bring a sleeping bag and sleep next to XO1.
do it.
Have a little
I'm going to
camp
bring a
out.
cooler in the back of the wagon, and we'll have
We are
some
we
beers
are
and
done.
things like
Oh,
that.
now we're talking. Now we're
Yeah.
talking. Austyn, where can people find you online?
So Ecto 1 GB, search that. Instagram is normally my preferred choice of content dropping.
Me too.
Uh,
It's easy. I know how it works.
I like it.
I still can't do TikTok yet. I'm trying to work it out. It's been
No,
too
I'm not
long.
there.
I'm stuck in my ways, as they
Do you know?
say.
Yeah. Well, this is the thing. You know, when I got the car, or actually just before we got the car, a friend of mine at work said, "Oh, you know, you should document all this on Instagram." And I hadn't used Instagram, and I went, "Do you think people would be actually interested about this?" And they were like, "Yeah, of course." And I was like, "I don't know if they will. It's only me just converting an old car, really. I mean, probably get a few Ghostbusters fans who might be interested." And I was like, "Yeah, I was wrong." There's there seems to be a fair few people who are quite interested in me, like going, "This is me screwing a screw into this back bit of the car. You can see me screwing the screw here, and now I've screwed the screw."
That's
And
what
it's
people
like,
want, though. But what thread was that screw, though? Was that the one that they used in the film? And that's when you
oh,
get
tell
the
you what,
screen accuracy. I love
it
it.
is. It is. I dropped into a company earlier on, literally today, on my way home from work, and asked them to identify a thread that I'd taken out of one. You know that on the side there's yellow tanks.
Yes.
There's like yellow tanks on the side of the rack. Well, I'm just doing some of the tubing that goes into that, and what I've done is I've had to take out one of the plugs so I can find a bolt to put into it to make sure it's longer, so I
Yeah.
can attach the tube to it. And I took the plug in and I said, "Could you help me with what thread size this is, please?" He kind of looked at me and went, "No." And I went, "Oh no, I need it because I don't know what it is, and it's from a World War II aviation tank." And he went,
Of course it is, mate.
"No, we're
Oh
closing. Bye bye." And I was like, "Oh, yeah, well, I'm not coming back here then."
no.
And so I gave it to my dad because I saw him because he came over today, and he's an engineer. My dad knows how to do all this stuff proper.
Yeah.
You know, he doesn't. You know, he's proper with us. And I gave him this plug, and I said, "Dad, could you go and research, please, what thread size this is?" And he went, oh yeah, I'll have a look at that. No problem. And my dad's great with stuff like that because he'll come back and he'll go, "Oh, it's a UNF." 3/16 C thread. I'll be like, "Brilliant, that means nothing to me. Can we get a bolt?"
Yeah.
And he'd be like,
Of
"Yeah,
course we have.
I've got four.
Yeah.
I've got a four for you." Yeah.
I've already found it. Yeah. I've already
It
found it. Right
is.
about it. I'm gonna
And
make my own.
yeah, and that's it. And it's wonderful. But that's how it comes, that's how all of this has come about. It's from having people, and I've got a big shout out to like my dad. My dad is brilliant. He helps out with stuff all the time. Mark, who is my cousin, as I say, he helps us with building and everything. And then my other buddy called Mark as well. I've got two Marks involved.
For the
One I
marks.
call Making Mark, and the other one's Sparky Mark. And Sparky Mark has been the one right from the start who has been doing it all with me. And he's an absolute legend because he is an electronics expert.
Oh wow.
And he is the one who is making the car come to life. So he is the one who is sorting out how to wire in all the strobes, all of the lights. He's got one of the light bars off at the moment because he's redoing all the motors. He is just brilliant, and it's brilliant. And that's the thing about this car. It's a real team effort because I've got all these amazing people around me who are just going, "Yeah, we can sort this, we can do this," and it's brilliant.
See, I forgot about the lights. See, I'm sticking around now. We
Mm,
have to. Hopefully, you're staying down for the weekend. And
yes,
we can go back and we can ask access to get in there at night when it's dark
absolutely.
because I want to see those
Yeah,
lights going off. I forgot about the
yeah.
lights. Oh, now I'm even more
Oh,
excited, Austin.
they
Oh,
are so crazy. And we did a parade around my local town, and
nice.
we got the one of the strobes, which is at the front at the top of the rack. And um it's an old aircraft strobe. So when you see them go across the sky at
Yeah.
night and the tail is flashing, it's that. It's a Whelan aircraft strobe. And when you see that thing
Right
relatively
then.
up close, oh my God, you're there like going, "Ow, that actually hurts my eyeballs."
Wow.
So yeah, it's brilliant. I
Oh,
love that.
I can't wait. I'm excited to see it. I'm excited to meet you. I'm excited to see
Same.
how the crowd react to seeing it there. and in person. It's going to be a
Yeah.
fantastic weekend. Austyn, thank you for coming down to the con. Thank you for finding time to speak
Pleasure.
with us today. And I'm sure we're going to be speaking a lot more in the future.
I like
Um,
that.
all the links to all your social media sites are down below. And I simply can't wait to take so many pictures of you and of Ecto One. So thank you for everything that you do
Ah,
and for coming onto the show.
thank you, Luke, for having me. I appreciate that.